best way to get started learning the Mojo reading language for yourself? Well, one of the things is to get familiarized with those basic components of the language that I just went through, the fields, the human design, get familiarized with those and the powers, the characteristics of the powers, what do they mean, and then see if you can start seeing a portion, a part of the phenomenon and honing in on that, and then getting your Mojo read. To start honing in on the phenomenon of Mojo, I'm going to give you a couple of cues that we found are the ones that are most distinguishable and people can start picking up at first. The first cue that I want you guys to hone in on is a Gear 1 cue, which is the Jai unaware versus Ji aware mouth. Now what that is there's a quality to the mouth depending on the values-based discernment power that the person has. And that has to do with the way that the power works, or the purpose of it, or the process. So for Jai, which for example I have the power of Jai, there's a quality to the mouth that any person that has Jai as their discernment power will have, and you'll be able to spot that. We call it Jai unaware because there is an unaware quality to the mouth. So the mouth is not, because the process of Jai is an internal emotional resonation, it's not supposed to be communicating to an audience a discernible message to move the dynamics of the audience. So what the mouth is doing is unaware of the outer dynamics and how those are interpreting that mouth movement. You'll be able to see that in any of the Jai users. Then you have Ji aware mouth. So the power of Ji, because its goal is to sway and move the human dynamics, Ji has an awareness to the mouth. So the mouth is at all times communicating to the audience what it is trying to influence or move it. So that smile will be meant to make it, put the audience at ease. There is this direct communication feed of the mouth to the outer environment and dynamics. And you'll be able to see that with every Ji user. A case example that I want you guys to take a look at is Nai-Z Robert De Niro versus Nai-Ji Al Pacino. So both of them are Nai Alpha. They have that first source power of Nai, but that mouth will be different. Robert De Niro has Jai as his primary values-based discernment, so he has an unaware mouth, like myself, for example, amnesia. Whereas Al Pacino, he has Ji as his primary values-based discernment, so he has an aware mouth, like Coach and Ademus. So take a look at those two. They played in lots of epic movies. They played in movies together. Awesome. Take a look at their interviews. Really start honing in on that mouth and the difference, because they have that similarity again, because they're both Nai Alpha, both have that power of Nai as their first, but they do share that difference and it's very distinct. So hone in on them, start taking a look, and then take a look at the shiny shard list and look at the people that have Jai as their primary values-based discernment versus the ones that have Ji as their primary values-based discernment, and start seeing if you can see the difference, the distinctions between them. Who are the Jai users that will have that Jai unaware mouth? You have the Jai Ni, the Jai Vi, the Ni Jai, the Vi Jai, the Vi Z, the Nai Z, the Z Nai, and the Z Vi. And who are the Ji users who will share the Ji aware mouth? There's the Zai Ni, the Zai Vi, there's the Vi Zai and the Ni Zai, there's the Nai Ji and the Vi Ji, and there's the Ji Nai and the Ji Vi. The other cue that I want you guys to take a look at is a Gear 2 cue. and it's the yin versus yang gesturing. What that refers to is the yin gesturing is a native gesturing for those 8 mojos that are adaptive, that start on the right side of the brain, as we already discussed. The yin gesturing will be characterized with soft of wrist, it will be more rolling type movements, it will be more back of the hands, and it will be more within the personal space of the person. It doesn't really go out into the environment, into the group environment. And that will be the natural gesturing for those who are adaptives. On the other hand, you have yang gesturing. And yang gesturing is natural for those mojos that are directive, the ones that start on the left side of the brain. And it'll be characterized, I'll try to mimic it, but for me it will be altered. But its yang gesturing is characterized with rigid of wrist, more conductor-like movement, going out into the group environment, very comfortable with that. Also, not so much of the, not rolling of the wrist because it's not loosed in the wrists. You'll see more enumeration, you'll see more putting things in their segments, conducting, moving. That's yang gesturing. I want you to start seeing the differences between yin and yang gesturing. I'm going to give you a case to study, to see the difference between yin and yang. Take a look at these 2 people and see if you can start seeing the difference. The 2 people I want you guys to take a look at are Zaini Jim Parsons and Vaiji Charlie Rose. Now this is an interesting case, and this is gets into the social alchemy too, so it ties into that, because both of them are what we call shades of consciousness. So they share the same powers in their conscious, just in different orderings. And that comes out in the gesturing too, because even though for Jim Parsons, him being an adaptive, his natural gesturing will be a yin gesturing. And Charlie Rose, he's a directive, so his natural gesturing will be a yang gesturing. There's some commonalities in that gesturing. There's what we call the spider hand. So it'll be, it's a spidery movement. I can't do it very well. I'll put an image up of Ademus so you guys can see the coolness of it, but it's spider hands. And his, though, the Jim Parsons and Ademus and any other Zainis will be yin spider. So it will be softer of wrist, there will be a rolling, there will be more of a looseness to it, and it will be within the personal space and all those other traits that I talked about with yin gesturing. Whereas with Charlie Rose, him being a Vaiji, directive, he has natural yang gesturing. So his are rigid of wrist, but you'll notice still that like spider quality. Because he does have those same conscious powers as the Zaini do, just in different ratios. But his are definitely yang as opposed to yin. There's that rigidity of wrist. He's going out into the group dynamics, into the environment, very comfortable with that and very comfortable with conducting. So take a look at those 2 and start noting the difference between yin and yang gesturing, because there are similarities, because there are shades of consciousness, but there is a very distinct difference between the 2. You can also pick any other adaptive or directive mojo and start seeing the differences between yin and yang gesturing, but take a look at these 2 first and see if you can spot it. The 8 adaptive mojos who would have yin gesturing as their natural gesturing would be the Zaini, the Zaivi, the Jaivi, the Nijai, the Nizai, the Vizai, and the Vijai. The directive mojos, who would have yang gesturing as their natural gesturing, would be the Naiji, the Naizi, the Vaiji, the Vaizi, and then the Jinai, the Jivai, the Zinai, and the Zivai. And to continue this journey of learning how to mojo read, one of the key things as well, as I mentioned, is to learn what your own mojo is. Reason why is because you need to understand what instrument you are, and that will tell you how you're reading others and others are reading you. It'll help you understand how you develop, how your process works, and how you read. So what do you need to do in order to have your Mojo read? What you need to do is to film a 10-minute video of yourself talking about anything, submit it through the Podlair website, and then a qualified Mojo reader will read your official Mojo and send the response to you. Only accept the real deal. To learn more about why the other models don't work, check out my colleague Ademus's show. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and I look forward to your questions and video submissions. Till next time on this shared journey of Mojo reading.